Hello, my mahogany mavens. It is makeup time. Honey, today is my birthday. And it's also the 12th anniversary of my magazine, Mahogany Curves Magazine. Please go to the link. I have the link in my description and get your free subscription to my magazine, Mahogany Curves Magazine. So today I'm going to do my makeup, but I'm not going to talk you up with which products because I just want to freely play with the products today. Just know that everything is either dollar store or Asian beauty supply store. So that's that on that. So it's going to be all cheap stuff that I'm using. But I'm just going to go through. And I think I want to tell you a little bit about myself. So we're going to do a little bit of background about me, a little bit about my story, my triumphs, tragedies, and new triumphs. So stay tuned. Okay, so first we're going to prime the face with this plain color cosmetics. And I'm going to start with my story. So I am a Southern Belle, born and bred in the rural countryside of Virginia. I grew up in a mixed race community as far as black and white, but things were very segregated. Still kind of like stay with your own type culture. So I had to navigate through that, and it actually inspired my activism. And I became an activist / revolutionary at a very young age. So I was only 17 when I had my march against drug violence in the community. I was the president of the NAACP. I was also an orator, and I wrote speeches. I was on the Anchor Club, the band, the basketball team. I was president of the prom committee, and I was president of the ecology club. So I was very, very one of those honors classes, all honors classes, dual credit classes. So I was a college student my senior year, and I graduated high school. So from there, I went on to college, and I went to Historically Black College and University, where I earned my degree in sociology. I ran for class president while I was there. Came in second. Stay tuned. Ma'am, where were you going with those big eyebrows? Girl. No, ma'am. Okay, let's try this again. Trace the bone. Okay, so I went to Historically Black College University. So I was an average student. I graduated, which is what matters. From there, my activism continued. And I went on to be the court advocate for victims of domestic violence, to get spousal support, child support, possession of their home, custody of their children, all of those things. And I did that for some time. I also was the CEO assistant for the food bank. So, and then like 2 summers, I was an account manager for United Way. And I was just in my field, in my sociology field, doing the work. But the work sometimes does not pay the bills. So keep in mind, I'm young, I have college debt, I'm working in my field, trying to maintain a household on my own. I had a roommate at the time, so we were just making it. But we were still blessed, things were looking up, and we were always looking for new opportunities. LA Colors can feel it. So my hobby was actually roller skating, and I am a professional adult jam skater. My skate style is Chicago style, so I wear the boots, the OG roller boots, and I can do baseball slides, I can do all types of things, splits in my skates. I won 2nd place for best all around in my area for female jam skating 1 year, and I made lots of lifelong friends. So during that time, I had connected with a friend, and she had a really good job. I really didn't know what she did, but I knew she worked for like a good company, and she wasn't struggling like I was. So I would always ask her, are there any entry-level openings at your company? What do y'all do? Things like that, because I was always on the hunt for growth. I loved my clients and I loved what I did. I loved helping the community, but I was just really struggling. At one point, I was surviving off of $20,000 a year before taxes. So with that being said, you understand my pain. So one day she was like, we actually have a position. I think I can get you in. And I was like, really? I was like, what is it? Do you think I can do it? She was like, I know you can do it. She was like, anybody can do this position. So I interviewed for the company. Okay, so did the interview and got the job. So I became an entry-level contractor for the federal government. So I already knew once I got my foot in the door, the goal was training, growth. So I started to do lots of trainings and all those things, and I learned how to do risk management. I learned how to do systems analysis and things like that. And I went to a training program that they had called Mission Engineering. And I started working for NASA NASA baby, whole hidden figure. So I did several projects for NASA. I was a risk analyst for the environmentally responsive aircraft project. I did the technical architecture for one of the data centers there. Just lots of projects, strategic planning, all those things. And then I got an opportunity to go to NATO. So I went over there, did some end user SharePoint things, and just continued to grow. It was just growing. Okay, so I'm doing all these projects, and then one day I started working on a project with a guy, and his wife was so beautiful. She was a model, and I love fashion, y'all. I love fashion, and I love anything girly that requires getting dolled up. But I'm not a pageant type girl. I'm more of a fashion type girl. Okay, so she gave me the information or the guidance on how to create a comp card and how and where to audition. And guess what happened when I auditioned for an agency? I got accepted. So now I'm working this great job for all these different government entities. I'm a leader. I'm on the Workforce Development Council for all diversity, for all the different diversity affinities. And I'm on the board of directors for one of the Urban League Offspring. And I became a model. So all of that at one time, and I'm young, so I wake up every day feeling like I can do anything today. The world is my oyster, and it worked. So I'm doing all these things. I'm navigating through life, recessions, not recessions, all those different things. So mind you, I've come from being the first college graduate in my family to now working at NASA, NATO, and other places, knowing staff, all those places, and being a leader in the community for the Urban League, and becoming a paid model. And my first modeling contract paid $150 an hour. Okay, so I'm doing all these things. L'Oreal True Match Foundation. I'm doing all these things, but keep in mind, I'm young, I'm a woman, and I'm black. So, when going into spaces and integrating different work environments, because, of course, there's not a lot of women in IT, there's not a lot of women in those areas, and then there's definitely not a lot of black women in those areas, so I had to overcome many diversity challenges, the whole women aren't smart thing, like a whole lot of stuff. And I was like a duck. I let it roll right off my back. I kept my eye on the prize. And I kept moving. So one day I'm working on a project. Because I also had to have a good life, y'all. I had to have some sort of social life. And in addition, I was a quarter-time caretaker for my dad on Sundays. I used to help with him because God rest his soul now. He had Alzheimer's. So I'm fitting all of this stuff in, but it's not even bothering me because my work ethic, ever since I was a child, working in my parents' restaurant, that work ethic was in me. That work ethic was just in me. So, on the job one day, leaving from one of the buildings on the campus, and someone saw me from across the way and came to where I was, said hello, introduced himself, and that was all. What I didn't know was, while he was standing behind me in line for the service I was waiting for, he had already looked at the roster, the sign-in roster, and got my name and email address. So, that was very resourceful. It was very resourceful. So when I get back to my desk, lo and behold, to me, I have an email from this guy. He was really cute. He had a great voice. He was smart. He was a nuclear engineer. So I'm thinking, wow, the potential that this guy is really a great guy. So I had an email because he was on my mind. After I met him, he was actually on my mind. After that quick little meeting conversation, I didn't know that he came all the way across the way just to meet me. So I get back to my desk and I have an email that says, I hope this is not intruding. You're very captivating. I would love to be able to exchange information with you and get to know you. I'm paraphrasing, but that's what it said. And I responded, yes. I let him have my information and we began dating. Okay, so I meet the guy, we hit it off, the conversation is wonderful, and we start to go on our first date. We found out we lived on the same street, but on opposite ends of the street. We went out to lunch. Then, we enjoyed it so much, we didn't want the date to end, so we continued talking. We went and sat on like a park bench and continued our conversation, and we just enjoyed the conversation so much, we didn't want it to end, so then we went for coffee. We had coffee, and the date was still going so great, and we were so intrigued that we went to like his neighborhood's, what is the little, like, it's not called a community room, but the big, where the TVs are, and the workout center, and media center, and couches, and so we went there, and we talked for the rest of the night until the sun came up. We disregarded our phones and everything that we had to do, and we just simply had this long date. So immediately, I was like, I'm in love. I was like captivated from the very start. I was like, man, this young black man who graduated from a historically black college just like me, who's in my field but an actual nuclear engineer, who's single, who's a Southern Baptist just like me. I was like, this is my husband. I'm like in my 30s, and he's like 30. So we were only like 4 years apart in age, I do know that. So I was like, this is my husband. I was committed after that. I was devoted. I was devoted after that. So we continued dating and going out and all those different things, everything. The relationship blossomed. It blossomed. In the midst of the relationship, I would notice sporadic, unusual things that he would do to antagonize me. But he still had me reeled in. I was still all in. So come to find out, he was a narcissist. So we, went through the whole uncertainty. I'll say we went through an uncertainty phase where I wasn't certain of whether he was being honest with me. But I gave him the benefit of the doubt and I continued on with the relationship. So mind you, I'm working these difficult jobs. I'm doing something I love, which is modeling and skating. I'm still maintaining my positions in the community. I'm helping with my dad, who is on hospice. I'm fighting diversity issues on the job. And I meet someone who brings this bright light and energy into my life. He love bombed me, and I had no idea. So, in the midst of being love bombed, keep in mind I'm still fighting these diversity issues and navigating through all of my life needs and concerns, and gaining this emotional attachment to this person. So lo and behold, my car started acting up, and I had a really nice car, but something electrical started happening with my car, so I had to start working from home. And I couldn't get to my dad as much as I wanted to, which also saddened me a lot. But the one good thing I had was my relationship. So, I eventually notified HR about the diversity issues, and I had to keep working with this person who was seniority-wise above me, and that was basically very controlling and targeting me. High pointing, ignoring my ideas, saying things like, there's a lot, telling me about myself and saying there's a lot that comes in this package, but it's just not the package I'm used to seeing it in. Those are the types of things I was going through in my work environment. Or doing work and them saying, well, we can't trust the data because of the source, and checking every inch of my work, which was 100% correct, and then having to apologize for saying those things. So the HR case started, and the retaliation was real. This person retaliated against me. I'm working from home. I'm worried about my dad. I now had to let go of my positions in the community. Oh, and I forgot to tell you, before all of this happened, I had pledged, I crossed, and I'm a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, where my position was the foundation member at large. So I had to let go of all of those things because of my transportation. And I had this guy who was love bombing me through it, and I didn't know I was being love bombed. Okay, so at this point, life is a daily struggle. Life is a daily struggle. Because I'm teetering on the edge of losing everything and on the edge of losing my dad. And he just continued. I remember one time he gave me a book, If Beale Street Could Talk, because I loved that movie. And he wrote such a beautiful letter in the book, and in all of his cards and notes that he would leave. And he hoped the stars glisten in my eyes, and all this beautiful stuff. And we were intimately involved also. So I was like, well, at least if anything happens, I have this new relationship, and I have a support system. So while I was working from home, one day he told me that he was planning because he was supposed to go on a guys trip. I was like, oh cool. Even though I had a lot going on, and I kind of felt like I was a little bit jealous, like I felt a little bit abandoned in that moment. And he told me him and the guys were going to Puerto Rico. Well, lo and behold, y'all, because the guilt ate him up after being gone for 1 week, not contacting me at all, and me sitting at home in depression spiraling downward because I'm fighting for my life, and I'm worried about my dad's life. He went a whole week up. I didn't know if he was dead or alive. I didn't know if he made it. I didn't know anything. There was nothing. It went flat. No communication. And so I spiraled downward. So when he got back and saw my condition, and I started drinking, he saw my condition more. I started drinking more. He saw my condition, and out of guilt, he told me he was in Costa Rica with another woman the whole time that my nervous breakdown was starting. And so when he told me that, I spiraled into a full-on breakdown. full on, head first. I didn't even resign my job. I just never went back. After over 10 years and working the type of jobs that I worked, I walked away from everything. Who does that? That's obvious that there's something wrong because no one does that. No one does that. I was in bad shape. So, when I walked away from everything, I locked myself in the house. All of the relationship drama is happening, the calling, the this, the that. I shut myself off from the entire world because I could not emotionally handle not one more thing. Not one more thing. So, when I did that, my emotional stability spiraled out of control and I became nervous to the point where I didn't have the wherewithal to do normal daily things. I had a breakdown. In the midst of this breakdown, I was physically attacked. And that was a tragic event that sent my mind into a place where I can't even describe to you. A place that's so deep and dark and far away from reality as you can imagine. So of course, by me not working, everything that's going on, there's no money coming in. I'm not modeling, I'm not working. There's no modeling. There's no money coming in. Maybelline Superstat. So, with no money coming in, and me being an emotional wreck, I lost everything. Everything down to the socks. Every car, house, jewelry, everything. I was so emotionally offbeat that I was giving things away. I think I gave away a mink coat because I had given up on life and I thought, I don't need this stuff anymore. My life is over. I'm losing everything. My life is over. So in the midst of becoming homeless, I was pacifying the pain with alcohol, which was not good at all. Not good at all. And this vicious cycle went on for like 3 years. And the cycle with the guy and him coming around and him leaving. He apologized to my family. I was missing. They couldn't find me at one point. They had missing persons out for me. Like, it was really like a mess. Like, really a mess. And then a light switch flicked one day in my mind. And it's like I just woke up from some crazy haze. And I was back in my right state of mind. I went into trauma treatment. I went into treatment, period. And now I'm blessed to have a new house. I'm still working on getting other resources that I need, but in the meantime, I'm sharing my story because I want to give hope that you can triumph. I don't care how bad it gets. If you're here, you have a chance. That's all. If you're here, you have a chance. Okay? So we're going to get back to this makeup. We've already contoured, but I see some areas that need some attention, where we have some little faux pas. Okay? And I'm going to start pressing in this contour. Oh, y'all, how could I forget? Through all of that, while navigating through all those life circumstances, I founded and started Mahogany Curves magazine. So that got me into displaying my own fashions and doing my own thing creatively. I had my fashion side, I was a model, and I had my IT training through this job. So I developed and created a digital magazine. So through all those crises, I lost access to some of my accounts.
Okay, my Mahogany Mavens, this is the final look. I really like it. Something pretty and pink for my birthday. It's very doable. It's very durable. I can wear it with anything. And I hope you enjoyed my story. Just know that I'm doing much better now. Things are really looking up, and sometimes we go through trials, but we do reach our triumph. Just know that. And you do have a chance because you're here today. Please subscribe. That's all that I ask of you. Please subscribe. I really would love the support. And I want to take you on this journey with me. So subscribe to the channel and stay tuned for more updates. I love you, Mahogany Maven. Until we meet again.